Alright, today we are working on a 2008 Chevy Suburban. This will be kind of similar to the Tahoes, to I think somewhat Silverados. First thing what we're going to do, you got to set the emergency brake, put a block, or put it on both wheels, and then make sure you have some jack stands. I would put one right here on the subframe or on the differential, or lock it right in here. That's where you would put the jack stand, and then same thing for the other side. I have my ramp right here, so this will kind of catch anything if it does fall or anything, so just as a little safety precaution. So put on your emergency brake because we are going to take off the drive shaft. This is going to make it easier. You don't have to necessarily do it, but my little method's going to work out just for this process. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to disconnect some things around the car. So, right here, we're going to go ahead and disconnect this line. So you're just going to pinch these two guys right here, push in, and then pull right out. Just like that. Be careful you don't break this. Now this is just going to help us drop down the fuel tank a little bit so we don't break these guys. So right next to the filler neck hose, we're going to go ahead and disconnect this guy. We're just going to squeeze these on the side and just spin right off. And then you just put that to the side. Then we're going to go ahead and take off the filler neck. Right here is going to be a little hose clamp. You're going to use an 8mm or a flathead screwdriver just to take that off. And then right here, we're going to take off these hose clamps from the evap canister. Leave this one, you just got to squeeze. Normally you're supposed to squeeze these guys, but if you're having a hard time like me, you can get a pick. Just open these flaps up and just kind of pull back on one side. Let's see. This one you want to kind of twist back and forth. You don't want to break this guy because it's going to be an expensive fix. And then for this guy, you just kind of want to spin around, push towards the evap canister, and then press down the clips. Alright, so I'm having a hard time getting off that one piece for the evap canister, so I took off these two 13mm bolts, so I'm able to free this guy out. So right here, here's a better view. Oh, that was easy to come off. And then we'll go ahead and put this guy back on. Alright, so next we're going to go ahead and take off the fuel neck or the filler neck hose. Again, we're going to use an 8mm. And you're going to twist this to break it free from the fuel tank. If not, you can move this hose clamp out the way, and then you can grab some pliers to kind of just move it. You don't want to squeeze this guy. And then we're just going to go ahead and pull back. Alright, so I had to use the flap a pry bar just to pry in between that, because it was stuck on this lip, so it's being a little bit pain in the butt. But other than that, I think we're ready to drop down the tank. So now we're going to go ahead and take off the drive shaft. We're going to use 11mm to take off these bolts. Now make sure that these caps don't pop off. Then you'll have a bigger headache than what you already have. You can put some tape around them just to hold them in place. And you're gonna get a pry bar, and then you're gonna wedge between, there's a nut behind there and the yoke itself. So we're just gonna pry these suckers back. You can leave these guys on. These are no biggie. So we won't worry about that. And then basically we just kind of have our drive shaft just hanging out right there to the side, as you can see. Then we're gonna have more space right here just to access the fuel pump. Alright, so at this point, we're gonna go ahead and take off. There's two straps, so we're just gonna kind of let these hang back. So there's gonna be one 15mm, and then there's gonna be another 15mm. So you're gonna take those off. So I would take off the front one first. This is my first time doing it, so I'm gonna start off with the front one, and then I'm gonna slowly take off the rear one. I do have some baskets from the shopping center. This works perfect. If not, you can use your jacks or a jack stand. I wouldn't really trust the jack stand because it's not more of a flat surface, but I have done it before. And then same thing right here. Here's another shopping basket. And then once we want to lift up the gas tank, we can lift it up with our knees. I'm going to be using my knees to guide the fuel tank. Now at this point, I would be very careful with your eyes because you're going to have a lot of debris falling off. So just keep in mind that. So we're going to go ahead, yeah, just take off these 15mm. And then make sure that you don't have the basket on under the strap because we need to take those off. Again, I'm using my legs to guide the fuel tank. So now I'm just gonna let it slowly drop. All right, so here we are. Looks like we got a little nest going on. Somewhat. Now we need to clean up this area with any dirt because we don't want that dirt to fall back in. So we can either use water or air. I think I'm gonna blow this all out with air first and then use a brush because I'm gonna be working in the areas I don't want to use water because I don't want to be getting wet. So I'm gonna use this little brush to clean up the area. Alright, so now we're ready to go ahead and take off our connector. So we'll just unplug this. This is the lift back. So you just lift this one up. And then this one has a little safety tab on it. Then we'll just go ahead and push down. And these ones are pretty easy. So this one, we'll just push in, make sure you twist them so they're all free. Now be careful with pulling these guys out because it might spray in your face. And there's a little tab right here. So we're gonna go ahead and just pull, lift up. These are all connected to that. This will be our evap hose. Now we're gonna go ahead and set this one aside right here. So we're gonna try to at least keep it afloat. Now at this point you wanna be very crucial you don't cause any sparks. So remember your notches. This notch, let me get this zoomed in. So this notch needs to line up, so remember how that goes. We're going to make sure that these notches go back when we install this. And then we're going to hit on this tab. We're gonna hit on this tab right here. They do have a special tool for that, but you can use a flathead screwdriver and a hammer. And as you bang it, there's gonna be dust coming out. Now you wanna try to clean up that dust again, and we're just gonna keep repeating the process. So now we're gonna go ahead and pry this guy right up. So this guy is broken. This probably explains a lot. And we want to make sure we don't get that dust in there. Now, if needed, you can take off one of the baskets and use your knee for the time being. Now I'm just taking off the one on the front. So there's going to be two hoses that are on this. So both are going to be a quick disconnect. Same thing that we've been dealing with. There's going to be two of them. There's going to be one that the evap hose goes to, and then there's going to be this guy right here. So the fastener clip's already on the fuel pump itself. And then this guy right here, you just kind of squeeze that guy. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and install the new fuel pump. So I already have my O-ring on. So we're just going to put in the floater first. Just set this guy right in. And once it's in, we're going to make sure that our O-ring is seated in properly. Alright, so this new fuel pump didn't come with a retaining clip, so you can either buy a new one or reuse it. So we're going to go ahead and reuse this one. So make sure that guy clips right back in. This one just goes right back in there. Make sure you don't drop it just like how I did right now. One in. So we're going to go ahead and clip this guy right in. Alright, so we got both of those seated in, which I think is the most ridiculous design ever. So we want this notch right here facing towards the area, or these three facing towards the lines. And then we'll kind of start a little small spin, and then we'll bang it out from there. Alright, so green clip is going to go in the middle, and then blue clip It's gonna go all the way right here at the far end. So remember these notches right here will go right there. That's the same thing as the fuel pump too as well. Alright, so there we have it. We have our notch lined up with the other notch. It's going to be a little while so to get that all settled up. So now I'm going to go ahead and lift up the tank so I can connect this guy, so I can get some room. So I'm going to lift up from the rear. Well, I'm going to lift up from the front of the tank and then swerve it or slide it right into there's like a little mounting area where the tank will hang on to. I'll show that in a few, but we'll go ahead and slide that right over. So now I have it lift up pretty well, so we can go ahead and put this in. Lock this connector, and then when you push this guy in, make sure you hold this tip and you push like that, because you don't want to rely just on that. And we'll go ahead and set these guys right in just like that. And now we're pretty much done with this setup. Don't forget right here, make sure that these guys are clipped in, and then push down this connect. Alright, so I'm going to start off with the front. I'm going to tighten that down, and then I'm going to go off with the rear. I'll bolt down the rear. So again, the way how we're going to put in this strap, just kind of like that. I'll slide it in right there, and then again, I'm just going to go ahead and use my knees. So now we're going to go ahead and connect these guys right back here. So we're going to connect the bottom one and then the top one. So I'll do the top one first. So when we're connecting this top clip, so when we're connecting this guy right up here, make sure that you hear it clip in. Same thing for right here. If not, you're going to get an evap leak code. Now we're going to go ahead and put on our drive shaft. Make sure that this guy's up. And then we're going to pull it right back. So make sure that this is seated properly for both of those. The little top hats right there. That's what I'm talking about. Alright, so at this point we're pretty much going to go ahead and start up the system. So we're going to go ahead and cycle the car about 3 times to get the system all primed up. So we'll go ahead and turn it off. Bam, starts up like a champ. So I know I got some issues. We got the oil pressure I got like some O2 sensors. I do have a video on the O2 on the oil pressure sensor. If you do want to watch that, go and sort through my videos and you will see that. I have a pretty well detailed video on that. But if this video helped you out, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and comment below to let me know how I did on this job. And thanks for watching.